Acadiana is
Ollie Bear.
Hey, you know, it's National Dairy Month, and I decided to spend a morning at Rouses in the dairy department with April Sins. Hey, let's take a look, see what I found.
Hey, you know, there's Christmas, and then there's Dairy Month. And I could not think of anyone better to celebrate Dairy Month with than April Sins, Dietitian, Eat Right with Rouses. Learning a lot about dairy this morning, and now we're talking about coffee and coffee creamers.
Absolutely. Do you love a good cup of coffee?
I do, and I use one of your recipes, by the way, so yes.
Yeah, so I love a good cup of coffee as well. So one thing that we need to think about, though, is what are we putting in our coffee? So sometimes we can add a lot of sugar into our coffee, we can add a lot of saturated fats into our coffee, so we want to be cognizant of what are we adding into that coffee.
Oh, absolutely.
So when you're looking at your coffee creamer, you want to turn it around like this one, and look at how much added sugar does it have, okay? And so this one only has about, what does that say?
5 grams.
5 grams of
10% of added sugar.
And so you want to make sure that it's not over excessive amounts, you know, like closer to 20% of sugar. If it does have some sugar in it, a lot of times it's sweet enough, you don't have to add more sugar.
Right.
So use that as your sugar and your creamer in all in one. Watch out for your portion size of it. So if you're using double and triple of the portion size, then we're doubling and tripling what that label says. So make sure you're looking at that.
Sometimes with low fat, no fat, there's actually more sugar. I found that.
Sometimes too, because they have to add something in to get that flavor in.
Right.
So if it's lower in fat, sometimes it's going to have some added sugar. So you just have to watch for that balance there.
Read the label.
There's a zero sugar types of creamers as well that you can grab. There's also, like we were talking about, a half and half, just a plain half and half. There's going to be no added sugar in there, but it is going to be some saturated fat.
Right.
So you still have to be mindful of your portion size in there.
I love coffee with half and half in it.
Yeah, and you know, when you're looking at, a lot of people like to grab those cold brew coffees that are already in a can or in a bottle. Those tend to have a higher amount of added sugar.
Absolutely.
So sometimes I like to make my own and grab something that doesn't have any added sugar and then make one myself. So like this cold brew right here, this does not have any added sugar in it. This is a concentrate. You don't have to use, you shouldn't use a lot of it at the time because it is concentrated. But you can mix it with some of your favorite milk, like regular milk, or you can mix it with water as well. You can also add your lower added sugar creamers, and then you have your own homemade cold brew that's less sugar and less fat.
Now, I do what you do. I take this, I add almond milk to it, and perfectly happy. It's a really cool, refreshing drink. I love cold brew. I love the kick of cold brew. I love being here with April for Dairy Month. It's the best month of the year. Hey, we're going to go back to you. More News 15 today. Dairy Month.